Hey guys, here we are with another episode of Get Fit with Dr. Ian. Today, I want to talk about intermittent fasting so that you'll be able to understand it better and, if you so choose, you can actually implement it into your life. The concept of intermittent fasting is nothing new actually. It's been around for some time, but over the last several years, it's garnered a lot of attention and new research. It is what it sounds like, periods of fasting alternating with periods of non-fasting or eating. Now, while the vast majority of research has been conducted in animals, there have been human studies done the last several years that have given us some insight into the biological and physiological impact that intermittent fasting can have on your life. So, let's understand how this works. First of all, there are many versions of IF, otherwise known as intermittent fasting. But today I want to focus on three of the major types of IF. They have different eating schedules and different guidelines, all based on which one of the types that you actually choose. The first is the 5-2 method. That's where for 5 days of the week, a person eats how they typically would, then for 2 of the days, they eat 800 calories or less. Sometimes they may eat 500 calories or less. Now, the one caveat to this particular method is that the fasting days should not be consecutive. Rather, they should be spaced out and broken up by at least 1 day of normal eating. The second method of intermittent fasting is called the time-restricted feeding method, otherwise known as TRF. It's the most popular, and you've probably already heard about it. This is where food is consumed only during certain hours of the day. There's a period of fasting followed by a period of non-fasting or eating. Now, the duration of these periods can vary. Most commonly, the feeding periods are either 8, 10, or 12 hours in length. For example, someone who chooses a 12-12 schedule would be fasting for 12 hours and eating for 12 hours. A 14-10 regimen would be 14 hours of fasting and 10 hours of eating. And then the 16-8 would be 16 hours of fasting and 8 hours of eating. Now, there's a third and a popular type of IF, and it's called the alternate day fast, which is something that I also use in my new book, The MetFlex Diet. Alternate day fasting calls for normal eating 1 day, followed by a day of relative fasting when you consume no more than 500 calories. And then you go again to a normal day. So you alternate normal day to low calorie day. The key to this method's success is rigidly sticking to the limited calorie count on those fasting days, even though you're allowed to eat whatever you want on the normal eating days. Now, in most versions of this method, you're allowed to drink as many calorie-free beverages as you want on those low-calorie fasting days. This is helpful considering there are so few calories allowed on those days, and liquids can help you achieve some level of satiety or fullness much faster and easier. The 3 IF schedules are something like this. Okay, now this is the 5-2 intermittent fasting method. This is the TRF or time-restricted feeding method. And this is the alternate day fasting method. Now, let's take a look at some of the important benefits of IF. Researchers acknowledge that while IF has been used for several years and there have been studies performed to analyze the pros and cons of this eating method, much more work needs to be done to validate and make scientific claims about what can occur. There have been, however, lots of anecdotal evidence about the impact or the effects of IF, as well as animal studies and early human trials. Now, while these observations are not always definitive and conclusive, they do give us a clearer window through which we can inspect the potential benefits of this type of eating strategy. The evidence suggests that IF can help in weight loss, better regulate blood sugar levels, increase blood levels of human growth hormone, and induce something called cellular repair. That's where your microscopic cells break down, and this could help them repair. So let's review some of the potential benefits. Number 1, weight loss, very important. Number 2, decreased inflammation. Number 3, improved asthma-related symptoms. Number 4, preserved learning and memory function. Number 5, decreased belly fat, which we all like. And number 6, reduced insulin resistance. Now, given the various research studies looking at this IF method, there are many theories that have been suggested as to why there might be appreciable physiological benefits. Mark Mattson, who's a senior investigator from the National Institute of Aging, has actually studied the hypothesis that during the fasting period, cells are actually subjected to what's called a mild stress. Mattson and others believe that cells respond to this stress by making adaptations that increase their ability to handle further stress and possibly actually resist disease. It's akin to the old adage, whatever doesn't kill you makes you stronger. The fasting deprives the cells of nourishment, which is a form of stress. But the cells change and adapt and figure out ways to handle these tough conditions. Scientists believe that these changes make the cells tougher and better capable of preventing or fighting off different types of disease. You know what? Intermittent fasting does not mean that you can simply eat whatever you want or how much you want during those normal feeding times and still lose weight. One of the biggest misconceptions held by many people is that, well, as long as I don't violate my eating time schedules and those parameters, I can just go for it and eat as much as I want. Doesn't work that way. Sweets, alcoholic beverages, or fried foods, those things still matter. Not only is it untrue when people think they can eat whatever they want, but it can be potentially harmful to your health and your efforts at losing or maintaining a healthy weight. Guys, calorie consumption still matters, even while employing the IF strategy. For example, whether you consume 3,700 calories within a regulated time hour span, or you do up throughout the entire day, as is typical, the basic equation of weight loss still holds true. Calories in must be less than, you got it, calories out, in order for you to lose weight or maintain weight. The vast majority of people who are consuming 3,700 calories are not going to lose weight regardless of the number of hours it takes to consume those calories. The body must do something with the caloric energy that is consumed, that is through our food. If you don't burn those calories off, the body will store that energy in the form of fat. So fat is a storage form of energy. And this will not only increase your weight, but prevent you from attaining that leaner physique you're trying to achieve. The bottom line with intermittent fasting is, during those periods of fasting, the body is driving into your fat stores to get energy because there's no food energy on board, which is why when you choose a method, try to choose one with the longer fasting period. Start with a 12-12, but see if you can work your way up to a 16-8. The more time you spend in a fasting mode, the more time your body has to drive into your fat stores, break that fat down, and then use that as energy rather than using the food energy that you consume. IF is a great strategy for everybody. Try it, customize it, and make it work for you. To learn more about IF, check out my social media platforms on Instagram at Dr. Ian Smith, spell the doctor out. On Twitter, Dr. Ian Smith, Dr. Ian Smith. On TikTok, the official Dr. Ian. And my website, driansmith.com, spell out doctor. You can also check out my new book, The Met Flex Diet, which explains in detail these particular types of intermittent strategies and how you can implement it in your life to lose weight or maintain weight and to get fit. That's it for this episode of Get Fit with Dr. Ian. Thanks for joining me. Remember, challenge yourself to be a little better each day. Open your mind, open your heart, keep moving, and have some fun. I'll see you next time.